Okay, everybody, so I just finished the renderer for the C4 blocks. Now, Morton was great enough to give me some textures in a really short notice. They look decent enough. There's still more work that needs to be done on these and a lot of other junk that has to be done. But each side works well, and this was an absolute pain to do because by default, Minecraft will not render stuff this way. I actually had to go through and tell each texture on each side to rotate. So that way this would render properly. Without it, we would get a mess of missing sides and everything else. I think I still have to work on that too because I think the packs aren't rendering. Uh, but that's mod development for you. Anyways, to show the appreciation that these work, I'm gonna blow it up. And goodbye my progress. But yeah, it's all working and it's pretty good. Now something I forgot to actually show off too. I was working on the grappling hook mod, and I did not show off the lighting improvements I actually made with it. I actually have a grappling hook in my hand. I don't know why I'm trying to find one. But I spent the last 2 days working on lighting right before I decided to go work on other things, just to kind of finish up the visuals. One of the main things I wanted to do was fix the fact that the rope showed up almost pure white. This was not intentional. Even though the texture is white, the color is meant to be brown. And this had entirely to do with the fact that the grappling hook gave no shits about lighting. It now cares. So we'll go ahead and fire this off. As you notice, it's a nice brown, but if you notice, as I move around, it absorbs the light level of the area. Now, it's not perfect. I am trying to literally invent code out of thin air to make this work. There's nothing in Minecraft that just tells me how this works. I had to spend a while, and if you actually need to sell on Twitter, I spent a decent amount of time trying to debug this and make this work and do various things. Now, its base level render functions off of checking what time of day it is, and then sets the color based on time of day. So if I actually go like time set night, the rope gets a lot darker. And I go time set day, it gets a lot brighter by default. But then it will also check the light level at each block coordinate, and it does this by literally getting the block at the location. There isn't anything that actually interacts with the world itself, it just pulls data from the world. And to better help improve this, I built a render system here to tell me what the light level is at each location. Now, where you're seeing the text highlight up is where the rope is actually pulling this data from. Now, the rope may go across these blocks in a diagonal path in a really weird shape. The problem is, in order to pull block data, you have to have a solid block coordinate. Now, in this case, we'll have a block here, but then the coordinate's actually somewhere right here in the corner. So even though we're sitting over here, the corner is where the light level is coming from. Now I'm going to be working on some blending functions to try to grab the block coordinates around it. And I will also be adding abilities to disable the fancy lighting because some people may not desire it, it may not work well, and it does have a slight impact on FPS. I haven't noticed a significant downshift, and for those who are probably comparing my old videos to the new ones, trying to figure out what the frame rate drop is, I'm running so much junk in the background, don't even try. Your results will be inconclusive. But as you can see, this does work. Now the vector math is slightly off, as you can tell. I'm standing over here, but the stuff over here, it's not perfect. It is close enough that it does work compared to some of my earlier results. And plus, if I stand here, this is actually showing that it is absolute perfect here. Now I'm going to actually probably shift the text over so it's in the middle of the block to make it easier. I may draw lines down to show where it actually is. But this is pretty close. I did make a similar attempt to fix the hook render without success. The hook render does render properly on certain materials. Like if the material is see-through and it grapples to it, the hook has absolutely no problems, as you can tell right here. But if I can go find, let's go over here real quick. If I go over here and then I grapple, we get a much darker. Let me turn off that real quick. There's some lighting issues. I'm going to have to adjust these. I'm going to have to fix them. There's going to have to be some tweaking going on, but overall it works. That lighting issue is being caused by a vanilla bug. Arrows do the same thing. Entities do the same thing if they're stuck inside of a block. But yeah, let's detonate this really quick. Select, trigger. I might add some debug renders to this, and there's a few other things I'm going to do with the C4. It is going to be based on the client because this is for the client's project. I will be making a public version of this here later. It'll be different than the client's version, so the client has a distinctive version. The version I'm going to be making is going to use the Voltsengen explosive registry, and I might make an attempt to take the ICBM classic explosives and make them work in a C4 style form. So you'll have unique renders and stuff that you can place, and you'll see, say like the antimatter bomb, you'll see antimatter swirling around in a tube, and you'll be able to detonate it and stuff. That'll come way later. This is something I'll be able to work on right now because it will take quite a bit of time to do, and there'll be various other things I'm going to have to handle. Other than that, that's about it for the dev progress video right now. I'll get more detail to you guys later, more videos, etc., etc.